Welcome to Planet People, a podcast that aims to inspire curiosity and cultivate a deeper connection with the natural world.
We are thrilled to be sharing stories with you that highlight the beauty and importance of protecting our planet's wildlife.
Be sure to follow us on social media and your favorite podcast streaming platform so that you never miss an episode. Hey, Planet People.
What up, Planet People?
Welcome back. We have a fun episode ahead of us.
We have a really fun episode. We have Desert Danny.
Just totally blurted over me.
Sorry. But it is. It's true. I mean, this whole episode is just us talking over each other. It really is. So just...
Oh, is that why you did that?
Yeah. Well, it just worked out. Oh. I just got a burst of energy.
I know. Where did that come from?
But no, this episode is really a lot of us talking over each other. So bear with us in this episode because we have legendary Desert Danny, also known as Danielle Wall, who is a snake wrangler in Joshua Tree, like the legendary snake wrangler in Joshua Tree. And she's pretty early on in her career, so she's only been doing this for like less than a decade. And even now, like, everyone knows her. We were recording at Joshua Tree Recording Studios, and even the owner of Joshua Tree Recording Studios, when we said, oh, we're having on a snake wrangler, are you cool if we bring in a rattlesnake? And he was like, wait, the Desert Danny? So
she's a legend in Joshua Tree, and I'm so stoked that we somehow became friends.
Yeah.
Just through the internet, I guess. Really, that's what it was, through Instagram. And I was like, this girl's a badass.
Yeah.
She's literally wrangling rattlesnakes.
So
and
cool.
Doing it with this like education, like advocacy element too, which is so important because there's so many people that will pose online with a selfie with a snake or something like that. But for her, it's more than a pose.
Yeah.
She can strike a pose with a snake, hell yeah, but you should see her captions. They're full of information, and she really does it to save one life and to save one snake.
Yeah. And
it's
to change the narrative. We talk about that a lot this episode. Change the narrative of snakes. Yes, they're scary. A lot of people have irrational fears about them, but we kind of break down why you shouldn't necessarily have this like crazy fear about them. Their natural state of being and how they're not really out to get you. They truly aren't.
Difference between fear and beauty is knowledge. Snakes are beautiful. You do not need to fear them. Only if you know their true beauty and their essence will you understand that you don't need to fear them. So there's fear here, knowledge sits in the middle of beauty and fear.
I love that. That was really nice.
Well,
did you just come up with that?
No.
Okay.
That's a quote.
Oh, okay.
I don't know by who.
Okay.
But I think it's a quote.
All right.
But I really like how it's pieced together.
It's great.
With knowledge in the middle, fear and beauty.
Yeah, I love that.
And
I never thought about it like that, but no, that's amazing.
She tells us she shares the beauty of them.
Yeah, I mean, I personally was more on the side of I'm scared of snakes, and I truly felt way more comfortable after recording this episode with her and learning so much about snakes and just their natural behaviors. And again, like I said before, they're not out to get you. And yeah, you'll learn more about it. We also talk about mental health, being an advocate online, take care of yourself. You know, it's hard out there. And so I really like that she got vulnerable with us.
It was a bit of a vulnerable episode because we talk a lot about this calling that she felt to save the snakes. And to understand that calling to want to like help something so much is just an unwavering dedication. And sharing that, and we got a little teary-eyed, you know?
Yeah.
It's just the power of like the divine feminine to like trust that like you can be vulnerable in sharing these important things that matter to you and let that guide you. and then the money will follow, right? She didn't make any money doing this in the beginning, and she still doesn't. It's all donation based. She said she makes enough.
Please donate.
Yeah, please donate. She makes enough to support herself, and to support the equipment that goes back into the snakes. But it's when she followed that mission that the rest just started to follow. And I think that will happen to us one day.
Yeah.
We don't make money from the podcast, folks.
But if you want to sponsor
But we believe
us.
in it every day.
We do. So what's a breath of fresh air that reminds you of this episode?
Probably seeing my first Mojave green rattlesnake, which I share a little bit in the bird's eye view for this episode when we talk about how cool these creatures are. So I have a fun story about that I'll leave for the bird's eye view segment. But seeing a Mojave green rattlesnake one time under my car and trying to help it out.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Something for me is we actually did a different episode later on, and more recently for us, carapace conservation, which is something to look forward to. They showed us a bunch of rattlesnakes that they had, and I wasn't scared.
Yeah.
After this episode, I wasn't scared. I got right up to them.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a breath of fresh
cool.
air. It was kind of like I, faced my fear.
Yeah,
So that was, and I felt more comfortable because of this episode, which is awesome. So freak or force, snakes, rattlesnakes, I think they're freaks.
Force.
You're a force. I think they're freaks. They have weird bodies, and it's so crazy that they can engulf an entire animal that's bigger than them.
Well, that's the force. They have the most powerful jaw.
It's true.
That's the force. I think
On the money. I think they're
I actually want to know how
freaks and forces of nature.
for sure. Rattlesnakes can strike with considerable force, around 7 to 10 miles per hour, projecting themselves forward extremely quickly. Their bite can exceed 150 psi on a direct hit.
Okay, I stand corrected. They're forces of nature. That's crazy.
We are so excited to be here recording today in Joshua Tree Studios. I'm Natalie Sybil, your host, and I'm here with my co-host, Coral Carson.
Hi, Planet People. We're so excited to dive into this episode, and I really should say slither into this episode because we are here with Danielle Wall, the snake wrangler herself, the legend in Joshua Tree. Welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
And thank you for bringing your friend.
Oh, yes. So glad to be here as well.
For
can't wait to
those
get
that
into
can't
it.
see, we have a little rattlesnake friend among us.
Yes, a speckled rattlesnake. And what better timing than for the year of the snake? And this discussion is just so perfect for the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey into wanting to save snakes? What was that kind of origin story?
The origin story is not what most people think. I did not grow up with rattlesnakes. I didn't grow up with snakes. I was on my way home from work, almost ran over a rattlesnake, and got it off the road with a long creosote branch, fearing for my life, an absolute terror. And when I got home, I did some research, as everyone should when they come out here on the wilderness.
Great point.
Because I felt very ignorant. And after having been here for 2 years and knowing nothing about a rattlesnake, I was like, that's a city girl move. Bad.
What city did you come from?
San Francisco, Bay Area. Yeah, like Sonoma County. And and I found out just the general attitude towards the animal. And I kind of needed a new mission because I was wanting to get out of dog rescue. It was a little too, after 6-ish years, it was mentally too much for me. And the universe sent me a rattlesnake. So
what was that experience like when you were driving and then, holy shit, there's a snake in the road?
Exactly that. It was a holy shit moment because I had never even seen a snake out here. You hear about
that was
them.
your first one?
That was my first one. I think I saw a red racer zip once, but nothing
And they
like a
zip, too.
gopher snake, but that was my first rattlesnake. Exactly. Where it's I didn't acknowledge it for what it was. And it was usually driving. And it was an oh shit moment of that's an animal. I'm going to swerve safely because it was appropriate to do so on Pipes Canyon. And I got out when I poked it, and I realized, because I didn't want it to die. Doesn't matter how afraid I was. I'm like, if I can help something, I'm going to help it.
Aww.
That's just how you got to live, right?
Save one life.
And and I'm like, the adrenaline rush looking back was pretty awesome. And when I poked it and it went running one way and I running the other way, and I realized like there's got to be something more to this. And so that's why I went home and did research, and just found out no one really did that. And there were some people here and there, but no one that was like on call 24/7 for free. And me at like 23, not exactly money bags. I've always made it work, but I said, how hard can it be? And the wrangling part ended up being pretty, easy, so to speak, to learn. I'm self-taught, but like the figuring out how to be a full-time volunteer in your 20s while trying to figure out life and love and everything, oh man, that was hard.
That's your 20s in a nutshell.
It was, man. I was so excited to hit 30, and I'm like, I've been doing this since 2018. And I'm like, am I in any better financial position? I'm like, slightly. Thanks, family. Because like my family lived out here, 70s, 80s, 90s, still do. And so like I had opportunities to purchase property from family.
Oh,
and like
nice.
that's like if I couldn't have, I bought my own house when I moved out here, but like just the lucky timing of some of the financial things. So I do understand why there was not a full-time 24/7 volunteer snake wrangler. Because if people saw how much it cost for me to just do the right thing, it sucks sometimes. I've been late on bills. I've gotten credit card debt. And then when people will accuse me of doing this for the money, I'm like, I got statements to prove
I got some
It's not
receipts.
for the money.
I got receipts.
Right.
This is not for the money.
I don't travel. Like, I have really had to, like, live a very, very different life than I ever expected myself to live. But then I realized, like, my anxiety was going away, my sense of, like, why am I alive?
Yeah, right.
Kind of philosophical questions that would keep me awake at night and endless nights for endless years. Like, that went away. And I'm like, well,
That's worth it.
it's worth it.
It's
and
worth
like
it. If you can make ends meet.
If you can make ends meet. And there are absolutely times I have not. Sorry, US Bank.
Yeah.
But thanks for holding on to me.
I'm so happy to hear that, like, this was your mission to be a snake wrangler. You wanted to find something fulfilling and to give back to the planet. And that's really what we're all about on the show, is being a planet person. And I think you embody that just by that one experience, that the universe put you in this place where there's a rattlesnake in the road.
It slapped me across the face with it.
And then you went home and you decided to dive deeper, and like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, you could have just drove over him.
Yeah, and
a lot of people do.
And a lot of people do. I've witnessed it, that people have swerved to hit. And one of them was a gopher snake. And if the person's listening, I remember when I followed you home and gave you a lot of shit for that. All the way to 29 Palms.
Do not run over a snake.
I had a mission. Hell yeah.
Mission complete.
I was fuming. It was like 30 minutes of just, I'm going to give them the lecture of their lives.
Hey, sometimes you have to do the education piece. So now that you had this first experience, right, where your origin story for wanting to save snakes started, how did that evolve into doing volunteer work full time, and what does your day-to-day look like now?
Oh, that's a great question. Because, in the beginning, I had to work a normal job of some sort. I needed to make my bills at the end of the day. And there was, can I name the business I used to work for? Yay, name, doesn't matter.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, go ahead. We can cut it later if we need.
So I worked at a wedding venue called Rimrock Ranch out past like Pappy and Harriet's. And the owners of that company, they were so fabulous to allow me to do my job and have the leniency of coming and going literally 24/7. To get my work complete, to do 40, sometimes 50-hour work weeks. And, they treated me well, they paid me well. And if I couldn't have had that job and with those people who were also stoked on what I was trying to do.
Supporting you.
Because, like, most people have been like, no, you're going to be here 9 to 5. You're not coming and going stressing us out when, they put up with so much. And I did that for 3 years while I was doing the snakes. And so, like, eventually it got to be too much I literally could not. There were not enough hours in the day I was not sleeping.
Yeah.
And, but that's how, like, financially, and then I was able to, invest in family property. And, like, but I'm paycheck to paycheck.
Totally.
Absolutely.
So when you were working that job, you would get snake calls and leave the ranch and go out and save snakes?
It would take me, I'd be there for, a portion of 8 hours, like from 12 to 8, but I'd only work 3 hours. Because I'd come 45-minute snake call. I mean, I was like, zip, 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 zip. I zip everywhere. Like, and it...
Just like the snakes.
It was like, don't get me wrong, there were days where I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? There are days that are, like, your brain will tell you, why did you give up, financial security? Why did you give up your privacy? Why? And then, but then, you know what you do. You come back.
Yep.
And you bounce back from that. Because, like, no matter what you do, you're going to have the days of, what the hell am I doing?
Right. But the snakes will thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure how many snakes do you think you've saved?
Yeah.
Honestly, wow.
And that's the thing. I've never kept formal records because in the first 3 years, I didn't think this was going to become my life.
Yeah.
I was just like, move a snake, this, that, learn. Yeah. But if I do, like, an average, like, first year was probably 50-ish calls. Second year was, like, 180, second it was like 200, and then it's gone like to 400.
Wow.
And, since then, like between 3 and 4, over 400.
A year?
And then,
Oh, wow.
And that's just the rattlesnake portion. Because, like, non-venomous snakes, I try to say, I'm like, please just leave them.
Yeah.
Unless the snake itself is in danger, just leave them.
Just leave them where they are.
So I don't know the actual number, because in the early years, I was going, just making ends meet. I wasn't really thinking I'm going to become this necessarily. I just knew, like, that was what I wanted to do. But when it started getting picked up, and then, that was when I was like, I miss my privacy so much. Right. I love it that I can help, because I know I'm a character. I get it that I can help advocate for these things and
that's the most
that role.
Important piece, really.
I know, but that's
exhausting,
that is
though.
Harder than any snake call I've ever been on.
Oh my gosh!
Is
being an advocate,
is, like, to be able to to go out there and deal with the internet,
right?
Because, like, you could be saving babies, and it doesn't matter. Someone's gonna give you shit for something. Yeah. You're not saving that baby, right?
Sure.
It's like, and you just got to put up with that. And it's like, it's never the comments, it's never that actually gets me. It's the reminder that there are just the grossness of the world sometimes, like the violence I get for saving these critters, because it is a dangerous animal. I understand it, and it's mostly fear-based backlash, you know. It's fear. Like, people are afraid of something that can potentially hurt them, and they won't listen to the science, they won't listen to statistics, they don't care. And I have so many people wish me harm. That way I can't save animals that are going to kill children later. And I'm like, okay.
I wasn't aware that you were getting that sort
Holy
of, like, backlash.
guacamole. Oh, yeah.
Dang.
I could make a book of the screenshots of some of my favorites.
Honestly,
but then, like,
you
it just
should.
reminds me that people can be fucking scary.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing the Lord's work, so to speak.
Oh, but I'm like, I get a lot of, like, I get a lot of religious messages where it's the opposite of that side of the snake fear and snake hatred.
Do you think it's because snakes
and I wasn't
are
honestly well versed on
bad?
The symbolism in certain cultures and aspects of religions, because the snake is so widely perceived in every different aspect of this world.
It's a symbol in so many different areas.
And some it's like, it's fear, it's
luck,
strength, it's rebirth.
Not. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's death. I mean,
right.
These things have been so unfairly. Besides the strength part.
Yeah.
Well,
we're in the year of the snake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about the symbology and spiritual aspect of being in the year of the snake. What does that mean to you, to be in the year of the snake?
I mean, every day is the day of the snake.
Yes.
It's not just a year.
But it kind of was one of those things, because last year was, like, the first year I started saying yes to interviews, like major interviews in the U.S. Because, like, I mean, people didn't realize I was borderline agoraphobic in my personal life.
Okay.
I didn't go out. I went to Stater Bros for food and back home, Grandpa's. Like, I was good at putting the face on for a dinner and then needing to go home and hyperventilate for 2 days. Like, I was so good at hiding it. People had no idea. Well, they're like, why won't you do a show? Why this? And I didn't want to get into that part of my mental state or just my part. Because I'm like, focus on the snakes.
Focus
like,
on the snakes.
But then, so last year I started doing the interviews. And so, like, I got my strength back and, like, being able to say yes to certain things. And now it's the first year where I'm like, because last year, I mean, I started the year at almost 90 pounds, depressed, and, like, having no will to really do much of anything. And so I'm like, but that was the year of healing. So now this is the year where I'm starting out at 125 pounds, strong as fuck, and ready to kick some ass.
Strong.
That's
for
right.
these critters.
Amazing.
Yes. And so I'm like, and so that I was like, it was good, because I'm like, last year I did not start out that strong. But I still kicked ass. Let me tell you guys.
Well, it's having those snakes in your
the snakes
in your
brought
view.
Me back out,
right?
Because and it being just the time frame. I had a bad breakup after 5 years, and then it was dark, cold. I had no snakes. No one's calling me to help. I was just I was a loaf. in my own house. And so when the snake calls started coming in and I had a reason to get up, I'm like, thank you, snakes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful thing.
Cry. Because, like, literally, like, these things, people don't realize they have saved me in a very different way. You know, and it's not, just to have a purpose is so freaking... I know, I'm sorry.
Let's take a moment.
I'm a cheese ball at heart, what can I say?
Love it.
I love that. The snakes saved you.
They're
You're
good
saving them, and they're saving you.
We got to keep the cycle of saving going.
Yeah.
Save one life.
Well, it's like your shirt, too.
Save the snakes!
Yes.
Yes.
And I love that it's like a circle.
So
yeah, this nice family designed these for me.
Oh, is that
That's
right?
so nice.
So do you
Yeah, I
have
don't
like
do
a logo
technology.
then, or like a business brand, or
No.
It's just Danielle Wall.
It's me.
That's great.
It's you. It's just
That's
you.
great.
Like, I haven't used a computer in 10 years. I don't build websites. Like,
Yeah.
I know how to scroll through things. There's stuff on the
Post some
iPhone I'm still
reels.
learning. I can't edit videos. And
Yeah.
so, like, you're never going to see me doing purchase orders
Sure.
through a website and me going to the post office. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm bored thinking about
Yeah.
it.
Right.
I can't do it. And so people have offered to do it for me, but then I'm like, oh, then it's emails. Like,
Oh,
I just want to be in the dirt. So
I
no,
get
I
that.
don't. Like, I have many logos because people have made them for me.
Sure.
But I don't,
Yeah.
oh, that's a beautiful
Oh,
way of
that's
putting
nice.
it too. I feel like that brings in that community element that you're
Yeah.
giving back to the snakes, and the people are grateful for you for helping
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, because this was just, she got 50% of profits I got, and I didn't have to do anything,
Yeah.
and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, that's sweet. So, for your snake wrangling, like, what does an average call look like? You get a call, and then what happens?
And then I have that adrenaline spike, just
Right.
and I literally have a name for it. I'm like, it's snake mode.
Oh, amazing.
And I kind of turn into a bit of a bitch, not gonna lie. I'm
Okay.
like, get out of my way.
Right.
I have something to do. And
You got places to be.
So if I'm waiting on something, I'm just...
Hey, don't tread on me.
So that's how it starts. I'm like, it flips the switch, and I'm like, go time. And
Amazing.
so I safely yet crazily get to that snake. And usually it's actually pretty basic. The snake is there. I got tongs. I got a hook. It's as simple as bloop, bloop, bloop. Pick it up, put it in the bin, easy peasy. But then, sometimes when they're in a hard spot or a crawl space, I mean, and that's kind of the perk is there is no just standard snake call.
Right.
Like, the people are always different. The reactions are always different. Every catch is different. Most of them now, after doing this for so long, are very easy.
What are some challenges that you've had on a snake call? Like, have there been any life-threatening scenarios, perhaps, since you're dealing with
Like,
rattlesnakes and they're
Just with one human man.
classic.
Of course. Of course.
We don't have to get
I'm
into
like,
that.
I
Yeah.
won't, but it's on
Yeah.
camera, and I hope your knee feels all right.
Oh,
Don't threaten me.
yeah.
I may be tiny, but I will strike to
You're
defend
tiny but
myself.
mighty.
Just like
Small but mighty, tiny
Yeah.
but mighty.
small but mighty. But no, in terms of like the snake, because it's never going to be the snake trying to hurt me intentionally.
Yeah.
And so if you know what to do, there's no danger for me to do the catching part. And I'm not going to, especially on the private property. We're talking insurances, we're talking a lot of things if it goes wrong.
Sure.
And I absolutely will not capture the snake if I can't safely do it. Like, I'm not going to put my fingies at risk here.
Right.
And as much as I want, like, and then once I'm off private property and I can choose to do that on my own time and dime.
Sure.
If I'm bitten, free handling them. But if,
And has that ever happened to you before?
no, never been bit. 80% on average of all rattlesnake bites, all venomous snake bites across the U.S. are on men. On average, 18 to 35. Lots of statistics. Fun there.
Hey, we love statistics.
A
Keep
female
dropping them.
snake wrangler is not generally on the high end of risk.
And I wonder why. It's because you have an empathetic approach. You're intuitive in how to handle them. I mean,
One of
that's
my favorite
That's the divine femininity.
presenters, Bill Hayes, he's big in the snake world. And one of his opening lines sometimes it was just like, the two main reasons for rattlesnake bites are testosterone and booze. And I love,
Oh, wow.
and because it's true when you look at the,
That's so.
the accidental bites and like the intentional bites, all sorts of like the statistics of what ends up going to the hospital. It's hold my beer. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it's still, kids unfortunately will walk by them. Women will accidentally walk by them. Like, we have a lot of ankle bites. Like, the women and children statistics tend to be a different area than the male
see.
statistics. But, like, at the same time, my partner currently was one of those men between 18 and 35 that was bitten by a rattlesnake on the hand. and was airlifted to Loma Linda.
Oh, is that right?
It was a very severe bite, and but he was at a construction job. They had just put down a bunch of boards. Whether the snake had already been there and the boards got put down on him or not, but they went in, examined where to put the boards, went back. So they didn't even consider. So when he put his hands underneath the board, he said he felt a prick through his gloves, and just at first thought, oh, cactus, and then he's like, then it started burning, and I mean his skin split in 12 different parts of it. It's all tattooed over now, but I get the heebie-jeebies.
Wow,
and so
that's
I
crazy.
really try not to get bitten, and so I know I do a lot of what appears to be sketchy things online, and there are a lot of it's forced perspective, camera angles, and when people read my notes, it says that it says I'm not actually in strike range here. The camera angle, and when people don't know what the strike range of an animal, everything I do looks dangerous.
Yeah.
But statistically, I know the range. I know where I'm actually safe and where I'm not, and how to manipulate things. And that is the clickbait part of what I do, is get people to watch my videos, to read all my educational stuff, I hate the or when it's just people make a post and almost got bit, or whoa. And I'm that does nothing for the critter. And so I'm you're goddamn right, I'll hold a rattlesnake for the views and skimpy clothing, because people were oh man, what's that? Let's read what this chick's got to say about this. Then it's hello, man. Do not get bitten, because you're 80% of the statistics of these bites,
Totally.
I love that you have this
you gotta
clickbait
work
approach.
the system.
Yeah.
You gotta work the algorithm. You gotta work social media.
And then you have the educational piece in your captions. And
everything in my
That's
captions
great.
has something where I'm if I can't benefit something, but yes, you gotta play the game of social media. And I hate that. I hate that world. I do.
I know.
To be called an influencer, I'm no, it's just a game, essentially.
Yeah.
Sorry, humans sometimes aren't that hard to figure out when it comes to what are you going to click on.
Yeah.
A heavily tattooed girl with fake boobs wearing skimpy clothing holding a rattlesnake, talking about how they're sweet nuggets.
It's a pretty...
It's
a pretty immediate click,
and that's the thing. They're always there. Sweet nuggets. I've turned down a lot of things because people like to focus on the scariness of the animals. I'm if I can't make it with some comedy and some cuteness. Then,
and that educational element, that's what kind
of...
When you hook people in, you can then tell them about the importance in the education. You've got a great strategy there. I mean, your audience loves every second of it. So what does that education look like when you're talking about the snake or how to protect yourself? I know in your captions you say, do not handle rattlesnake.
Don't do this at home.
Don't do this at home.
Yeah, it's definitely a don't do this at home thing. And but that's the thing, most people will not even try it, because when you look at the bite statistics over time, the people are going to do it. They're going to do a lot of stupid things. The statistics for most everything that injures people is the common basic things we do every day. So with the education with the snakes, I really like to show that, especially in the medical field, everyone thinks you get bit, you die, and that is so far from the truth, because the medical field now is so good when it comes to rattlesnakes and venom in general. I mean, it's less than 1% of all the overall United States rattlesnake bites perish. And it generally, it's someone in not the best condition, or unfortunately a small child with not a lot of body weight. But I just parrot the same, 10 things about the snakes to say, they're not mean, they're not aggressive, and that's the number one thing that I push, is they are not aggressive.
Right.
And all these crazy stories you've ever heard are wrong. And
changing the narrative.
You gotta change the narrative. And so it really is that, because it's the bare basic 10 things people have heard about rattlesnakes that are wrong. And I just keep trying to hammer those home over and over, that the baby rattlesnakes are not more deadly. And they
is that a myth?
It is a myth. And they can control the venom.
Really?
I've always heard, what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard that the baby's more venomous
I have to keep
than the
it
adult.
kind of generalized in that educational bracket, because if I get too deep in talking about the toxin, people are the eyes glaze over, people go to bed. And so I just try to stick to the 10 myths about the animals in terms of the education.
You're really
So what
on
are the
it.
10 myths?
Yeah, tell us.
Oh, 10 myths? Well, that's the number one. The babies are not more deadly. They can control the venom. That they'll chase you. They will not chase you. there's so many that they can fling themselves, launch themselves. Not true. That the Mojave one has 8 different toxins in it. I mean, you hear just the most wild things. You won't instantly die if you get bitten. Granted, people have. You got a weak heart. Like, there's always going to be an exception in the medical field.
Like a pre-existing condition.
A pre-existing condition, yeah. Because depending on what kind of species of snake does bite you, your body's going to behave very differently. Like, rattlesnakes can swim. People think that they'll drown in water. I'm like, pro swimmers.
Really?
They will get tired, but won't we all? I'll
go to rest sometime.
I didn't know that when I
that's
first learned
cool.
rattlesnakes. I'm like, I would have brought the list.
I know these are great fun facts, though. I'm learning too.
Yeah, I didn't know they could swim.
Yeah, they can swim.
And what kind of snake?
And they love water. They love water.
Really?
The number one reason that they stick around our homes is for the water resources, and so that rule's not going to apply as much in San Diego County, where everything's lush and there's water constantly. They're not struggling for that resource.
Oh, I see.
And
what about Los Angeles?
Similar, like the hills of LA and Hollywood, there are a lot of snakes up in them hills. Mm-hmm. Mainly Southern Pacifics. And that snake is really big compared to our desert snakes. Like the Mojave rattlesnake gets the crazy reputation because it is drop for drop the most venomous snake. And
the Mojave green.
Most of the myths end up they're towards the Mojave rattlesnake because just because most deadly does not mean aggressive, does not mean, so many different things. They're a smaller snake. They're actually, whenever I handle a full-grown Mojave, people are like, oh, it's a baby. And I'm like, this thing as big as I get.
I have noticed that.
So people constantly think the snake's out here, but it's the fear. It's like all these things end up being a fear-based kind of, it's a misconstrue the snake's behavior. And a lot of times, there's reasons to why someone says it chased them for the most part. A lot of times because they're scared, and I'm like, you ran. You didn't get chased. There's a big difference. But a lot of times, people they're just misinterpreting the animal's behavior. One lady, in particular, the first one that comes to my mind, is it was really hot. She said it had been warming up. And she's on her porch, just enjoying some coffee, whatever. And she's like, the snake she goes, then all of a sudden a rattlesnake appears out of nowhere. And she goes, so it was camouflage basking. And she was like, and it came right at me. And I'm like, where were you standing? She goes, on my porch. I'm like, sun or shade? She goes, shade. I'm like, temperature approximately? And I look at the thing. I'm like, so it was warming up. And she's standing there. The snake is not coming to her. It's done in the sun, and it sees a nice, cool, shady, concrete spot. And if you interrupt a snake when it's super hot out and it's going from a bush to a bush and you're projecting a shadow, that snake I've shown it in videos where the snake, it's hot as hell. It'll be 90 degrees. I always make sure it's not too hot. Put the back of my hand on the sand so I'm not burning the snake, you know what I mean? But it's warm enough to where the snake is not going to want to stay in the sun. And I'll back my shadow up and it's into the shadow. Into the shadow, into the shadow. And I'm like, but most times people are just scared. But there are certain things that snakes do, and people personify them as humans. And I'm like, they don't have human emotions, guys. They don't. And people have a hard time putting it into perspective. I'm like, man, the size difference, we're like a freaking T-Rex to this critter. And people are like, well, it's aggressive. It struck at me. I'm like, if a fucking T-Rex picked you up, are you just gonna stay nice and calm?
Right.
Think about it. It's not that hard to grasp it. And when I tell people this, it helps them. On paper, behaviorally, a rattlesnake and a feral kitten share the same defensive behavior.
Oh.
A feral kitten is not going to attack a person. Feral kitten, if cornered, will try to just run past the big threat before latching itself on. That's all on paper. You could flip-flop their behavior. The rattlesnake doesn't pursue anything to bite it besides a mouse or a
That's
rat,
a good
bird.
comparison to get people to understand.
Yeah, because if this was cute, cuddly, and not venomous, it's the same behavior.
Yeah.
But it's the fear of it being potentially dangerous. And I've shown that many a times where the snake's in a corner. I'm like, watch, I'll walk towards it. I'm the big bear in this situation. And I just stand there and the snake's like, ah, right between my legs. People just need to realize it's just scared. And I don't know why at this point in time that's such a hard concept to grab at this point. Right. There's so many resources out there that have disproven all of those myths. And, most of the stuff's on Google now. You Google, I'm like, if you can go on Google and the first answer is actually right and you still get it wrong, that's when I'm like, guys, we got to try a little harder here.
Yeah,
sure. We got to try a little bit harder.
So what should somebody do if they see a rattlesnake or any snake? Like, what should their next move be? Just let it be, or? Because
I teach kid safety with rattlesnakes, and I tell people, kids and everyone alike, you tend to hear them before you see them. That just tends to be the case.
And what are you hearing?
And so you're gonna hear the rattle. Unfortunately, my adorable little nugget is not gonna do that. He's not afraid of me, so he's not gonna rattle because it's a scream coming from their tail. It's the same thing. And so unless you're like on a trail or you happen to see it in your direct line of vision, it has to be plain as day, because you'll be hiking on these rocks and you'll step within a foot of one. It won't rattle, it won't move. It's just, and you don't notice it. And so most of the time when you do see a rattlesnake, you hear it first. So I say, you freeze. I don't care if you are mid-step. And that's what I tell the kids. I'm like, it's red light, green light with a rattle. If you hear that rattle, freeze. And then once it stops, or if you, like I tell the kids, I'm like, look with your eyes. Don't move, because in that moment, your ear is likely, I'm hard of hearing, so I'm one of those where I'm like, I can't tell where the sound came from when you hear it. You walk backwards or you shoot forwards, backwards, sideways, doesn't matter. You can land right on it. So I say when you hear it, you freeze, and you don't move again till you have a visual on that snake. And then you back up from wherever the snake is. And because you don't want to accidentally step on it. And that's happened to me. I'm moving a snake and I hear one, and I'm like, where the hell are you? As a sidewinder in sand. And so I'm like,
sidewinders are so cool.
And until it moved again, until I took a step and I was actually moving towards it, but without seeing it, I could hear it. Sun was blazing in my face, and it was partially in the shade. So I'm like, where the hell are you? And at first I wear boots, so I don't really care. I'm not gonna get bit that way. Not these boots; they got my holes in them. But you freeze, find it, back up. That's all you gotta do. Like, and if you can't in that moment, well, then that's, I've seen situations where people are sitting on a rock, and the snake, you've been sitting there for 20 minutes, the snake comes and curls up behind the rock. Like, there are many situations. It's so rare. You have a higher chance of being struck by lightning twice in the U.S. than dying via rattlesnake. Yeah. Like, wow. We're talking, go buy a lotto ticket if any of these situations happen to you. This is not common. Yeah. Where you're hearing this every day. Me slipping off a rock is common, not sitting on a rock with a rattlesnake next to it. But there are just, inspect your surroundings before you sit down out here. Yeah. Never put your hands where you can't see what's underneath or around. This adorable lady, unfortunately, she didn't look behind the flower pot when she went to grab the flower pot because it was kind of big. And so she wanted to move it, and the snake so she kind of, got a grip on it to move it, and the snake was behind. And so, it's those things where I always say 3 seconds can save you a trip to the hospital. Right. 3 seconds. Most snake bites can be prevented with 3 seconds. You go to open your front door, look down. Yeah. You open your slider, look down. You go to sit on your patio furniture, look underneath it. It's preventative. Everything with snakes is actually quite simple. It's just we end up glazing over those little steps. And then I always 3 seconds can save you $300,000 or more. Snake bites, granted most, anti-venom situations are covered in healthcare plans.
It's expensive otherwise.
But it's still very expensive. I don't want to get bit. I don't need a second mortgage.
Right.
To end up paying for my co-pays, what I mean?
No, totally.
And
to just take that time to
even
look
myself,
around you.
But I've been that person even as a goddamn snake friend. And I have a picture of it. I should have ready where I was outside cleaning up. I bought a house, junk of a yard. So I throw down a box of contractor bags. And I didn't notice that a rattlesnake, I'm picking up just things in the yard. And so at one point, because I know that snake was not there when I put the box down. I know it wasn't. And after, I went and grabbed another, third, fourth bag. And on one of the reaches, I'm like, holy shit. And a speckled had curled up right next to it. But I put the boxes on a rock pile. I had looked at it. But unless you're thinking about snakes, your brain is actually not going to register it as an animal because the camouflage is so damn good.
Right.
And so that's why like the preventative actions, you know, of like always be on alert, and I don't try not to like instill a fear in people, but just an awareness. And honestly, women don't have an issue with this because let's be real, we are constantly aware.
Yeah. 100%.
Painfully
Always
aware.
looking over the shoulder. So
Yes.
we just got to keep looking on the ground and around the pots. And
It's a daily
That's
practice.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's
add
There's
more.
a lot for that, and you know, granted, a lot more. You know, the male demographic is outside doing certain jobs that's going to put them in proximity to these animals. There's so many different factors, but they won't chase you. And so
Yeah.
I always say, if you're just aware and not stupid,
Yeah.
this is not the animal you worry about.
Or fearful, too.
Or fearful.
And letting fear guide that judgment of maybe thinking this animal is going to strike you. And I've worked on jobs where there are construction guys around and they're so terrified of snakes. And they come to me with their stories of, oh yeah, there was a snake in my yard and I cut its head off. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that
If I had
story.
a dollar, if I
As
had
a
a dollar,
biologist,
I'd never
I
have to
know.
ask for donations again. If
Literally.
I had a dollar for every horror story,
I
I tell
know.
people I'm not your snake confessional.
I know.
I am
That's a
not.
great way of putting it.
I'm like, are you calling me today? Yes?
great.
Let it go, man. You made the change.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of...
It
and when
drives me
people...
crazy.
Do they ever start with, you're not going to like this story?
Yes, they do.
And I'm just like...
I'm like, why did you
I'm
tell
like,
me
you're a
this?
professional bitch, didn't you?
Why? It's like
Not
you're
gonna
coming
say
to me
nothing.
with this, and I'm the biologist on the job site, and you're telling me I'm not going to like this story about you killing a snake. Then why the did you tell me this story? Because I don't want to hear it.
I'm like,
my
hey,
job is to protect them.
I'm going to find a story I don't
Yeah.
think you'll like hearing, that you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I gotta make jokes, otherwise I
know.
can't survive.
I know, right?
Right.
I
You have to
can't.
laugh.
Because
Yes,
like,
you
yeah,
do.
the violence, it does, man. I'll come home and I'm like, I just, you know, the tears
Take a breather.
overflow.
Take a
It's
breather.
like, it's just, yeah, you gotta take a breather,
Yeah.
take a joint, you know.
Yeah, that too. And for this segment of Bird's Eye View, we are going to introduce you to the Mojave green rattlesnake.
I wish I could do a rattle.
No, I can't. If you want to hear a rattle or like a mimic of a rattle,
We'll put a sound bite here because we do have it.
burrowing owl screech
Oh, really?
mimics a rattlesnake.
No way.
It's super
That's
badass.
insane.
So it's
What?
like it's an advantage that they have against predators. Because
Oh.
if they sound like a rattlesnake, then a coyote
Whoa.
won't stick its nose in a burrow.
That's such a cool fun fact. Holy shit. That's
It's
awesome.
really cool.
Wow.
I've heard it before, and it's kind of an alarming, like, quick rattle hiss. Yeah.
So tell us about the Mojave green rattlesnake.
The Mojave green rattlesnake is one of the smaller species of rattlesnakes. It's much shorter than other ones. So the Mojave green's reputation comes from its venom. It's one of the most venomous snakes in the world. The venom contains a potent neurotoxin that, if not treated, could be deadly. Which, if you are in the Mojave Desert, I think there's like 2 hospitals that have an anti-venom center. So if you're out there with no snake garters on or anything to protect a snake from charging at your ankles,
So wear boots.
so wear boots, and I wear snake garters that protect
What is
my
that?
shin.
Snake garters.
It's literally like a shield for my shin. It's like a shin guard.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's to prevent snakes from going at your
okay.
ankles, basically.
If you're, we will put pictures on our social media.
Yeah.
I did not.
I have
even heard of
photos with
that.
them on. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
a legit thing.
Okay.
Desert biologists sometimes wear them. I feel like if you're doing surveys, right?
That makes
That's where you
sense.
want them. So yes, they are very venomous though. You do not want to get bit by one of those, but you won't if you don't approach it and charge it.
Yeah. Which we talk a lot about with Danny in this episode. So.
Yeah. I've actually had one come up to me.
Oh, wow.
So we talk about saving one life, save one snake. Check under your car.
Yeah.
I literally pulled over on the side of the street because I saw a Mojave green rattlesnake in the middle of this long desert road. No other cars coming my way. It was 1 lane each way. And I pulled over to, make sure that I monitored it so it wouldn't get run over. And when I pulled off to the side, the snake comes right up to my car. And so now I've caused a problem of providing it with shade, and I have to try to get it out from under my car. And I took a video of of myself, like, basically monitoring this snake while it's under my car, and it's just there and I'm trying to get it out. So it's kind of cool though.
What did you do? Or did
I grabbed a creosote stick.
Oh, okay.
And
you wrangled it just like Danny.
I just kind of nudged at it a little bit to get it to move on. But it's a really, like, I don't know, it's a cool video because you have this long desert highway with no one coming, so it's just a classic image of the desert. You just feel like this is the Wild West. A Mojave green rattlesnake has approached me and is now under my fucking car. Anyways, short story in this bird's eye view, but that was a cool moment in time.
Yeah. And so what's some good news about the Mojave green rattlesnake?
Good question. They are considered a species of least concern on the IUCN Red List, which is basically, the IUCN Red List is an indicator of what species are the most, endangered, of least concerned, threatened, etc. And so the Mojave green falls on the lower end of that range of least concern, which is great news.
Yeah.
And they are common in their range in the Mojave Desert.
Nice. Let's slither on back to our episode.
So we have a speckled rattlesnake here. What are some other types of rattlesnakes that you encounter? I know you mentioned the Mojave green rattlesnake. What are some other species that we can kind of get into? Are there any endangered ones that you come across? Or just kind of getting into the biology a little bit of these different species.
That.
Yeah, subspecies.
So many. We have quite a few out here, but I deal with a smaller amount. The speckled is the number one rattlesnake out here that you're gonna see because they are
and this
rock
one's the
dwellers.
speckled?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the rock dwellers, and we got a lot of rocks. But anywhere that you see all flat and all creosote and yuccas, that kind of thing, you're gonna move into Mojave rattlesnake territory. So the three main species I deal with are the speckled, the Mojave, and the sidewinder. There is a protected species of rattlesnake. It is the red diamond. We'll leave it at that. And I also, once in a blue moon, catch Southern Pacific rattlesnakes out here.
Does their range extend into Joshua Tree, the Southern Pacific?
Yes. Okay. And it's super isolated just based on the data that I've been able to find and just my call ratio that I have come in, I think, 7.
Okay.
In all my seasons.
Wow, that's not many compared to, I'm sure, the other species.
When I'll have 300 plus Mojaves within 2 years, it's bananas. And so, but we don't have all the California rattlesnakes in the Mojave Desert down here. We're not going to get Western Diamondbacks here. And if I had a nickel for every Western Diamondback call, because you put any snake into Google, it pops up Western Diamondback for the most part. Every Western you've seen, it's generally a Western Diamondback, and it's just kind of the only rattlesnake name most people will be able to pull out of their brain. But I've never caught one, never seen one. It's just not the range for them. And man, I wish it were. But, and then obviously we don't have the Northern Pacific rattlesnake because we're not in the
Northern California.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
sidewinders, speckleds, and Mojaves, and like I said, red diamonds are protected.
Tell us a little bit about the sidewinder. I love sidewinders. They have such a cool movement.
Oh, I have such a love-hate with sidewinder.
Is that right?
With my little sideys.
Are they hard to
They're so hard to wrangle.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter how good you are when it comes to a sidewinder. Sometimes they will just have the upper edge when they're going full speed. They'll be doing their little thing, and it's like my eyeballs honestly can't process where, you can't have the foresight to know where to put the hook because it's moving at such a rate. You just gotta go for it. They're fast and they're fast as hell. I remember one time I almost puked because this sidewinder took off. It was all, unfortunately, a plowed 2.5 acre parcel. And just sand. And it's sand. So it's running on the beach. And man, I smoked cigarettes for a lot of years.
Oh, man.
And
I caught up to you.
I was like, that snake booked it. And top recorded speed's 18 miles an hour. And I sure as hell ain't going even 10 miles
18 miles an hour?
Sidewinder can go that fast? Or just rattlesnakes?
If you Google top speed, that's the average that it comes up with, or the top, the speckled, the bigger they get, they're chonkers, they're little slugs, they're adorable. Wow. The Mojave can be fast, but the sidewinder is otherworldly quick.
Cool.
And so when I do get a Sidewinder call, if it's curled up, I'm like, going in for the donut. I have random little terms I've made up in my head because I'm alone a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
A lot.
I am too,
Yeah.
for my line of work.
Exactly. You're alone in the field.
In the desert.
In the desert.
Where there's silence.
With your brain being baked by the sun.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that. Because, like, I'll whisper, I'm like, going in for the donut. I remember one lady actually heard me. She was like, what the fuck is
Where's
this
the
chick
donut?
on?
What is she saying?
I'm like, it's just, I imagine the way, because, like, my tongs look like, kitchen tongs almost.
And then he's like rolled up.
And so they're curled up. And it reminded me,
like a
'cause you
donut.
gotta be fast. If that Sidewinder isn't moving, you don't want to hurt it. You're not like, phew, grabbing it and hurting it. But you gotta be quick. You can't because if it moves, that just turned from like easy peas lemon squeeze to like, again, running.
Oh, yeah.
After it. And so I imagine being in that moment, like being the lady at the donut place with the long tong, going in and pulling out the cinnamon roll donut. And that stuck in my head for some reason. So I'm like, go for the donut. Or like when I teach the lesson, I'm like, pick up the donut. You gotta go for it as a donut.
I love it.
I'm like, because as soon as it takes off,
That's great.
I love them, but I
have your
hate
nicknames.
catching them. I hate catching them.
Damn it, that sounds hard.
They can be, man.
So when you catch them and you put them in like a bin or something, do you go out and release them elsewhere? Like, what is the next step for that?
Oh, yeah.
question.
So essentially, it is the closest legal spot.
Okay.
Because no one wants to be torn away from their home, let alone their entire city, so to speak. And so an easy way for me to put it is like if you were born in Yucca Valley, I can put you in a new house in Yucca Valley a couple blocks down the road, other side of town, and you're like, well, this is Yucca Valley. I know Yucca Valley. But if I moved you to 29 Palms, you're going to be like, well, I got to explore this new town. I don't know anyone. And that's kind of how it is in Snake World. Is like the more that they move to reacclimate to a new zone, the more they get picked off by predators. Because if they move, they're seen, they're eaten.
Same thing with desert
and so there's a
tortoise.
lot of like the studies.
What are they
this
eaten
isn't
by?
meat. Birds of prey is like the top predator, but coyotes, pretty much anything, bobcats, like all of it. But roadrunners primarily, owls. I saw a hawk with a rattlesnake in its hands, talons. I was like tongs. They kept saying tongs. I'm like, no, that's not right. Talons. And I was like, no, that's probably George. I was a little bummed. I'm like, wrong house.
We were recording an episode outside in our last season, and we saw was it a hawk or was it a?
Are you talking about when we were in Costa Rica?
Yeah.
With the turkey vulture and it had a snake in its talons?
In the middle of us recording.
Which I question if it was a vulture because, they're scavengers. I don't know if it would be picking up a snake. I wonder if it was actually a hawk. But anyways, it's cool to see a hawk with a snake in its talons, but you're like, George!
No, I got my resident rattlesnakes. Absolutely. I live isolated. Like backing up to thousands of acres of BLM rocks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I live in spec world out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they're so cute.
So you get to relocate them close to their home.
Essentially that's called a home range. Thanks for redirecting me back.
No, that's okay. I forgot for a
The
second
proper
too.
term for it is like you want to keep them within their home range. But which can be upwards of a mile, 2 miles. I think with the red diamonds, but protected species, so it would never touch those. No. And so that I believe the most recent study is some of them will go up to 4 miles, but it's essentially like, especially out here, the snake is staying in a very small spot. Because if it has food, water, shelter, potential sex in a 10-foot radius, why the hell is it moving a 1,000-foot radius? It's not. It's not. And so when I move them, I mean, all it really takes, I have a lot of legality associated with this. It gets all nitty gritty because that's been the hardest part too of the relocation is finding legal and appropriate options where these snakes can actually go. And but I give them water during the relocation, and 9 out of 10 of them are chugging it. And so that just sustained them for months potentially with their water resources. Like them actually getting a good, bunch of gulps of water out here, unless they're on a property, is very slim. Unless it's got to have a heavy rain and all that. So I give them water, and I find him a pack rat nest. I never thought I'd say pack rat nest so many times in my life.
Bless the pack rat nest.
Bless the pack rat.
What is a pack rat?
nest. It's just
What is
Pack
it?
rat midden, like a...
Yeah, like you'll see in like
Pack
the
rat
rock
nest.
piles, you'll
Okay.
see where these rodents had a pack rat. Like
Yeah, you
it
just
looks,
build, like,
it looks
a
like my
nesting
truck
area.
where like no one has taken the trash out or clothes or anything out in a long time. And
about
you'll
how my
see
car
like
looks right
pieces
now.
of plastic. You'll see like they collect everything and they create these massive mounds.
It's like a habitat for them.
It's amazing. I've seen some so established,
yeah.
but I can smell them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, before
And
I
they're
even
historic
see them.
nesters. They come back generation after
it's
generation to
amazing.
nest in these pack rat nests. Yeah.
And so, but I also have seen, like, during the drought years, that got way worse with them going after the Joshua trees and the yuccas and all the cacti.
Wow.
And so I started seeing an increase, whether or not it was an increase or I just started noticing them
Sure.
more, not correlation, causation, blah, blah, blah. But all the yucca plants, I was starting to see those big mounds of rat crap and cacti that's been collected, and then I'm realizing that they're dying, and I'm like, shit, these pack rats, because they make them in a yucca because the birds of prey can't attack from above. And they'll make them in cholla, because, you know, and so they're brilliant. These rodents out here are brilliant, but that's where I put the snakes in. Because I'm like, here's dinner.
Yep.
And so they're now
That's
hydrated.
hilarious.
They're close.
They're
fed. I never show anyone where I put them. I don't record it. All I tell them, I'm like, I am in the closest legal spot I can find for this critter. And it's been hydrated and put in a pack rat nest. And sometimes I can't find one, albeit, you know, a lot of it's underground, and there's very desolate areas out here where I'm putting a sidewinder and I'm just looking for the thickest set of shrubs I can, and with the most holes, because then you know something's happening underground.
Right.
But yeah, like the snakes I move, I'll put them in a rock pile so established with so many rodent nests, that snake's not going to have to leave potentially for the rest of its life, just from that one, 100-foot radius little area. Yeah.
I love how intentional you are.
It is very intentional. And I
is
have friends
intentional.
come with me, and it'll be 90 degrees, right? The snake's got ice packs. The snake's chilling on these. I'm not so much. But I'm like, and my friends will, want to come with me on these. And when they see where I get to a rock pile, we're already huffing and puffing. And I'm like, and I'm looking around, I'm like, I can't find a single fresh rat poop. And they're looking at me like I'm absolutely nuts. They're like, can we just get back to the truck? Can we?
It's once you bring
and
up
I'm
the
like, no, we gotta find another. I'm like, we go to the next rock pile.
Yep.
And then to the next rock pile. I don't care. Like, I always think if someone's watching me with binoculars, it looks like I am probably on some sort of heavy drug, just like wandering.
around.
It must look so aimless wandering. My favorite is though when it's flat and I'm looking for a creosote with a ton of holes. I'm like, beep, 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 beep. Like, I really should map it out one time.
You sound like me
And-
when I'm checking desert tortoise burrows. I probably
and
just look ridiculous.
I have found I have about like 10 plugged in on my phone for the spots.
Oh, yeah? Where you found tortoises? That's
where I
freaking
see where I see
awesome.
in a couple years, that they're active again
Sure.
there. And I've
Sure.
only seen 2, maybe 3 alive.
Oh,
I did find
oh.
a shell the
Recently,
other day.
didn't you? Yeah, I think I saw
posted
that.
left it where it lied, all that. But yeah.
Well, that's really cool, though. I like what you said, Coral.
super
Just about
intentional.
being intentional. And not only are you relocating them, but you're hydrating them. So you're saving one life every time.
Yeah.
And that's something I've had to do with tortoises is when we find them and I put a tracker on them, we hydrate them after every single interaction with
why
them.
not?
Well, you kind of have to. It's,
Why not?
They need it.
Yes.
They need it, especially during these on and off dry these on and off drought conditions.
Like, they may be
California's been
masters of
experiencing.
survival, but those drought
throw 'em
years,
a bone.
Yeah,
those
right?
drought
Throw 'em
years,
a
man,
bone.
it was
Yeah.
sad. I had never really seen a fully emaciated, dehydrated snake, and one of the Mojaves I have is one of those snakes where I'm like, it was so
You had to save it.
sad, and I'm like, this snake there's no way in hell it's gonna survive. I'm like, I barely survived.
Yeah, right?
Because they'll turn themselves into a water bowl. So when it rains, they form a tight coil and kind of lift up the edges a little and like drink off their, because they create a watertight barrier to drink out of themselves.
That's really
And
cool.
so, dude, this water spigot, I mean, one drop like a minute, maybe. It was and this poor snake's just like,
Right.
God, please send me
me all
water.
if
the
that
water.
doesn't teach you a lesson about survival,
It was-
I don't know what will.
Right? It's epic. they turn themselves into a bowl and straw.
That's crazy.
The desert.
I've only gotten to see it in person a
crazy.
handful of times, but
Wow.
it is so neat.
Do you have any pictures of that? I want to see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, we gotta see.
Absolutely. Because one lady, like, it was pouring rain, but it was hot. And so I knew I was going to get a million calls. Everything pops up to the surface for the rain.
Oh.
And so the lady, she's watching me through the window. And I see that it's doing the bowl thing. And I'm like, because it's the first time I got to see it in person. I've never seen the mating, the mating, like the fight ritual, where it's just snake arm wrestling. But so I got to see that, and I'm just and I forgot momentarily that there's a lady watching me, and I'm like pulling out my phone.
Oh my gosh.
And
You're just
then
in your element.
I hear knock, knock, knock. I'm like, oh, I was like, it's drinking. It's drinking. And I was like, I don't want to disturb it. I was like, it's drinking. And so I was like, maybe 5 minutes. And she's just like, and so when I explained it to her, she's like, she loved it.
Right.
But I kind of forget how I may be perceived because, like,
Sure. That's hilarious.
People don't know about something, but that's why
Yeah.
I don't work with like something like a horse because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
It's dangerous to me.
That's so funny. You sound
Those
like
are
your
specialties.
expertise.
when I'm seeing a tortoise on the job site, or like last week I saw a golden eagle and I just pointed up and I was like, oh my gosh. And all the guys and like the other biologists are like, what are you looking at? Like, and then I'm running towards it and just look like a crazy person getting excited about an animal and no one has any idea what you're looking at. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is just too good to pass up. Like, love the
I know
excitement, Danny.
exactly what you mean.
I love the excitement. This has been just such a fun conversation.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everything that you
Yeah.
do, saving the snakes and
Yeah.
being a planet person and just
I mean, you really do embody the planet person mission to the core.
Thanks.
Finding this as your ethos to want to save one life, save one snake, and how that just carries forth with everything and your naturalist touch on it, bringing that intuition in how you relocate, the education piece, the advocacy element online. Like, I mean, you just you have all of these components that just I'm loving and seeing through this conversation, and it's great to hear it in person and all your fun stories, and it's great. This has been fun.
We could literally do this for days.
Yeah,
we could probably keep this conversation going for like 2 more hours.
Season. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's in store?
Is there anything that you want to tell our audience, any advice that you have before we
Some
we
last
break
words.
off?
Anything we didn't touch on?
I guess just in general is be kind. It's free.
Love
You
it.
know, to rattlesnakes, to each other, to everything, because it makes life a little easier, a little nicer.
Love that.
And lead with intention to learn, not fear. Yeah.
Love that.
Woo!
That was great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That was so fun. Until next time, Planet People.
Yes.
Cool.
Are we good?
Yay! I think he even fell asleep in that.
Oh.
They don't have they don't have eyelids.
You're so cute, buddy.
It's just like wearing permanent goggles and they can't blink.
Interesting.
Great. Oh, sick.
Okay, cool.
I'm like, dude, that was so eloquent.
Yeah, we've been doing it all.
So eloquent.
Slithering through the Mojave.
Slithering through.
Nailed it.
That is my favorite thing. People make fun of me.
You were so fun.
They got me a hammer that even says nailed it, a shirt that says nailed it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
the best
I'm like, nailed it.
And to end this episode, we'll go into a little bit about what you can do to really push that anxiety into action.
Yeah, one thing I think that you can do is just to share this episode and maybe with a friend that you know that has an irrational fear of snakes, because we all know somebody. Share this episode and, try to change the narrative around snakes and to not kill it if you see it in your yard and to call a snake wrangler.
Period. That is the best action you can take, is to save one life, save one snake. Call the snake wrangler, call Desert Danny. That is your action piece. If you live in the desert, or in San Diego County, call the San Diego Humane Society, a wildlife rehab center, anything. Just please don't kill it.
Yeah.
Take preventative care, even if you're scared.
And if you can, donate to Danielle Wall. She is a full-time volunteer, so she could use it.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Planet People. We are thrilled to have you as part of our community of wildlifers who care about protecting the planet for future generations to enjoy.
We hope that by listening, you feel inspired to connect with nature and become a steward of the planet by getting involved and taking action with your local community conservation organizations. Until next time, stay positive, planet people.
This episode was produced by Natalie Jean Sybil, Coral Carson, and Hugh Carr. Directed and edited by Coral Carson. Theme song by Hugh Carr under the artist name Flama. Thank you, team.